Greetings. Welcome to the FaerySpeak. I can't tell you what episode we're at. I think we are at episode 8 or 9. Maybe 9. Yeah, well, it'd have to be an odd number, wouldn't it? Because I do them in sets. So, yeah, I think we're on 9. Isn't it amazing? 2 a month. The last 4 months we've been doing this. This is actually the 5th month I've been doing the FaerySpeak. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're watching, and I hope you get a laugh. What would be even more if you're actually getting some kind of spiritual connection. That would be great. But on the other hand, this is just for entertainment. At least that's what the sign says. So here we are. June just had a birthday, turned the big 6-0. Feel free to send birthday cards to the station. Or if you see me at Big Y, yell, "Happy birthday, John!" And I'll look and I won't see you, and you'll be waving, and I'll see you. Yep. Well, let's get the introductions over with. This is my friend Harry. Hopefully you can see it. And he's a gnome that travels with me often. Right now he's outside the garden because it's a beautiful day. And there are butterflies. Lots of butterflies. Maybe I'll do a shot of the butterflies out the window. It's a beautiful bush out my window. The butterflies are just having a good time. Maybe I'll use it for my backdrop this time around. So here we are. As you know, I call myself a channel, fairy energy. I do spiritual readings for people, generally through the cards. The cards are just a tool that I used, tarot cards, to help cut through the ice of deception when I'm talking with somebody. And yeah, so I have these cards. They're from Brian Fraud's Fairy Oracle, and they're kind of neat cards. You should be able to find them at probably Crystal Essence will probably have them, or they can order them. Or you could find a set of cards that you like, that you kind of resonate with, and I'm sure they would be happy to help you find one. Or Barnes & Noble, or the place that's over in Lenox, there's a bookstore over there. Maybe they can get them for you. I suggest you actually physically touch them before you buy. But I hear Amazon has a great return policy. All you have to do is tell them that you touched it when it came in and you didn't like it, and they would honor that, right? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Anywho, so you know the deal. Basically what we're doing is I'm going to do a reading for you. I'm setting my intention to read people that are in the future that are going to be watching this video, and perhaps the information that I share will make sense to some of you, if not all of you. And perhaps I'm also only just doing a reading for me, and it has nothing to do with you or any of you. And it only has to do with me, and then you get to find out particular insight into me and my life. Either way, it's a win. So what we're going to do is I'm going to shuffle up these cards maybe one more time, and we're going to spread the cards out, and you're going to help me pick the cards. And we're going to pick How many cards? For some reason, I'm hearing the word 5. Usually we do 6 cards. So someone out there is going to be saying, well, gee, we always do 6 cards. What would be the difference? Why aren't we doing 6 cards now? Says, I don't know. Someone out there is saying, only pull 5 cards. I gotta run. I gotta go get a pizza. So just do the 5, and then I'll come back and see what's going on. I don't know. I'm hearing 5. Maybe it's the fairy. Fairy often pipes in. They knew we were going to do this today. They knew I was going to procrastinate. That's why we're doing it today at 3:30 instead of doing it at 10 in the morning, which is when I usually do them. Well, that looks pretty good. So, shall we start? Are you thinking of a question? That's where we start. We think of a question. So what's your question? If no one else is in the room, you can share it out loud. If someone else is in the room, maybe you don't want to share it. So we're going to pull up 5 cards because somebody out there wants a pizza. Oh, pizza is good. Well, I'm just gonna think about it. Not too much because I'm supposed to be thinking. I'm supposed to be working here. I can't be thinking of pizza. Okay, so let's go. We'll 5 cards. Let me know which ones you wish. Now, some of you have asked about what it is how do I choose a card? Well, sometimes I'll feel some change in the energy around the card. Maybe it'll just be like a vacuum. How do your figures feel a vacuum? But there's some change in the feeling of the air, like it's colder or it's warmer, or I get a tingling sensation. Sometimes the tingling sensation is just my carpet tunnel. But anywho, something right here. I'm not really sure if it's this one or this one. Somebody's upset. Guess it's this one. This one want to be this one the other time. Ooh. One of my favorites. It's 4. Well, how about this one? For some reason, well, there's 5. So we'll see where these go, and then we'll pick some more cards, assuming we still have time before you go for your pizza. Well, let's start with the first one. Now this one here, number 49, in case anyone's following at home. Mickle the Muckle. Mickle the Muckle. Everyday blessings. Play. Mixed blessings. Well, that's interesting for a first card. Play and mix blessings. Well, Mickle the Muckle, he looks kind of like a somebody that plays tricks, fun tricks, not hurtful ones. So, the Bright Mother. Creativity, nurturing, productivity, intimacy, sheltering. Well, that's interesting. So you have fun, not quite a trickster, but someone who likes playing around. But this card was upside down, which we call it reverse. It was like this. So the reverse would be unisex, difficulty giving and receiving nurturing. Now, what does play have to do with nurturing? Well, that's an interesting question, don't you think? Well, if you're taking care of a child, you're gonna, play with them and read to them and feed them, all those things. You know all the things you do. You do the same thing with somebody else. You're going to give a little to them, they're going to give a little to you. But sometimes it's difficulty to give that nurturing energy to someone else. Particularly if you've been raised to believe that when you give something like that, it has a price tag. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about, there's something you have to do in order to do something for someone else. So, it's very interesting. Number 22, the Master Maker. It's a very interesting card indeed. This one. Skill, craftsmanship, magician, moral strength, and invention. But that one also was upside down. And being upside down is shoddy craftsmanship. So what does these three cards have to do with each other? Well, it's kind of an interesting connection between the three. Because if you're taking care of another individual and you're not doing it well, it has a price tag on it. Now, sometimes people take care of other people and they don't know any better that how they're doing it may not be correct or appropriate. Maybe appropriate is the terminology. But other people do a shoddy job just because they can. They think they're getting away with something. They think they deserve more. They think they should get paid more, and since they don't get paid more, they're going to do a poor job at what they do. There's all kinds of people out there. Some people don't do a quality job all the time. So, it's kind of interesting. But if you don't do a good job, if somebody always notices that, like we used to call one of my daughters 90%, because she'd always stop a task before completing it. So she'd get like 90% through it. And she'd be so focused on the next task that she'll stop without completing it. And it was not always, but there was oftentimes she would be, so focused on getting, multiple jobs done that she wouldn't complete every task. But eventually that starts getting noticed, particularly if there's a pattern. And how many times did you give somebody a task to do and they don't do it the whole way? Or they only do it partially well, and you know that they could do a better job and they don't. And you really kind of get puzzled about why. Why won't they do it all the way? But most people, I don't think they do it on purpose. I think they're so focused on something going on the next task, or they've got a smartphone and it keeps binging every 5 minutes. And if you got something binging at you all the 5 minutes, you're going to pay more attention to the binging than you're going to be doing the task at hand. That's why, so many workplaces, they don't want you using your phone because it's a distraction. How many transportation accidents have there been because, the guy controlling the engine that's hauling, 300 people is texting and not paying attention to the rails in front of them. I mean, it happens. It happens too often that people are paying more attention to their phones than they are even just walking down the street, and they walk out into the road, get hit by a car because they're not paying attention to what's around them. Shoddy workmanship, shoddy craftsmanship. There's people that don't know how to do the job, and then there are people that just don't care about doing a good job. Iris of the rainbow. Hope, promise for nature. Hope, promise for the future. Nature, future, it kind of looks the same. Hope and promise for the future. Now that kind of goes along what we're saying. If you invest the time and the energy to do a positive job of what you're doing, the outcome is going to pay off. Could be money, it just could be love. It's just an interesting thing. Abe the Retriever, number 41. Office of Unclaimed Property. Hopes and wishes and loyalty. Unclaimed property. Hopes and wishes and loyalty. Well, does that make any sense at all? Well, I guess it does. It does. Because it's shoddy workmanship. If you have shoddy workmanship, you're not going to have your hopes and dreams. People are going to know that you don't do your job as well as you do, or your tasks. Or maybe when you cook breakfast for somebody, you don't cook the eggs right. Nobody likes eggs not cooked right. They don't like them all runny. Some people do, but that's not the way to serve them. People can get sick that way. See what I did there? Flipped it over. Does that tell you that was in reverse? The rare. Wild energy, pure potential. But this one was in reverse. Would have been nice if it was right side up, wouldn't it? Losing or lost control, misunderstandings escalate. Ground and meditate. Back off, look at things coolly. Yep. Last, the moon's daughter. light cast in shadows, spiritual guidance, illumination, and riddles. That's interesting. We were just talking about church. But if you're expecting attention and love from somebody, you should be giving it back to them. They give to you, you should give back. They give to you, you give back. You give to them, they give back. It's a circle. Number 10. Singer of the Healings. Singer of the Healings. Singer of the Healings. Healing of body, mind, and spirit. Well, that's what we're talking about. Interesting. Interesting, we should pick the card. Epona's Wild Daughter. I have a couple of wild daughters. Epona's Wild Daughter. Inner shadow, nightmare, depression, and madness, and growth. Well, that's an odd reading for a card. You always think things are positive. Inner shadows, nightmare, depression, madness, and growth. You know why that's so interesting? Who knows out there why it's so interesting? It's interesting because this card was upside down. There you go. It was like that. She looks like she's kneeling on an owl. But then she's also has her arms on top of another fairy that's crushed up into a ball. Hopefully you can pick that up on the camera. Growth is being blocked by clinging to old habits and things. What do your nightmares tell you? Growth is being blocked by clinging to old habits or things. What do your nightmares tell you? Interesting, huh? So doing things the old ways. I often have dreams. I used to service printers and copiers. I used to travel all over and do that for a couple of different companies through my career. I still dream of doing that, of going out and fixing printers and copiers for people. I don't get paid. I know I'm not actually officially working for them. Not officially working for them. So that I don't have to really put up with a lot of the guff along with the job, but I do like to turn a screwdriver. I really do like turning screwdrivers. Doing the repair work. So I often have dreams of doing that. And in the dream, I'll actually realize it and be quite knowledgeable. The fact is that I don't get paid. I don't have to do certain things that I don't like. Carried inventory, paperwork, all that stuff. I just get to turn a screwdriver and have fun. I didn't have shoddy workmanship. I did a good job. I did too good a job. That was the problem. And you say, how could you do too good of a job? I used to work 12, 16-hour days. So it was a funky time. I used to sleep in my van. I used to have a bed set up in my van so I could sleep in my van. So I can get a night's sleep somewhere. How many of you have gone to that extreme? So this is kind of an interesting show. This is kind of talking about that thing about doing 90%. But sometimes if you're doing 110% or 125%, it doesn't serve you personally. It didn't serve me. Yeah, the pay was good. You know, I was getting paid, you know, a lot of money, double time sometimes. You know, you work an 80-hour work week, you work a 100-hour work week, you get a pretty good paycheck. But in the end, you don't see your family, You don't spend time at your house, you know. You can't do it all. The same thing with taking care of your family. Do you do 125% and then the other person in the household does 10%? That doesn't work. You know, seeking a partner. Partner in crime, so to speak. Not doing crime, but you know what I mean. But that's what we're talking about. People you work with. You do 50%, they do 50%. You got 100% workload. You know, not one person does 125% and the other person does 25%. You may have 150%, but you got a person that's burnt out. So, that's a pretty cool reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having fun. The fairy is very interesting. The fairy is all around you. You go sit in a waterfall, you'll see them dancing on the water. They like the forest. Not that much of the concrete. Keep some flowers in your house, or a plant, or a spider plant. Spider plants are good because they're safe for cats and dogs. I don't know about dogs. I don't have any dogs. But I'm sure you can do a search on the internet to find out if spider plants are... I got mine at Big Y. So, they're available. So, until next time, the fairies speak for you. Do 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 do.